Have you ever just felt like English questions have these secret rules that nobody told you about? Well, today we're going to uncover one of the trickiest ones out there. We're going to solve a classic grammar mystery together.
So here it is. This is our central puzzle. I'm sure you've noticed this before. One of these questions sounds totally normal, right? But the other one, it just feels a little off. It's a super common point of confusion, but you'll see the solution is actually pretty simple once you know the secret.
So to figure this out, we're going to be grammar detectives. We'll look for the clues, follow the evidence, and trust me, by the end of this, you will have this mystery completely solved. Okay, every good detective needs a key clue to crack the case. For us, that clue is finding the subject of a sentence. Seriously, once you can spot the subject, the whole case just breaks wide open. So, what exactly is a subject? Well, it's pretty simple, actually. The subject is basically the hero of the sentence. It's the person or thing that is doing the action. You can think of it as the doer. So, in a sentence like, the cat chased the mouse, well, the cat is the one doing the chasing. That makes the cat our subject.
And it just makes sense that if the subject is the doer, then the object is the receiver. It's the person or thing that the action is happening to. So back to our sentence. The cat chased the mouse. That poor mouse is receiving the chasing, which makes the mouse our object. See? Doer and receiver. All right, let's bring this back to our original mystery. In the sentence, Jack called Teresa. Who's the doer? Jack, of course. He's our subject. And who's receiving the call? Teresa. She's the object. It's that easy, right? But believe me, knowing this is the absolute key to solving our puzzle. Okay, so we've got our main clue. We know all about subjects and objects. So now it's time for the big reveal, how all of this helps us finally understand these two different types of questions. And here it is side by side. This slide really shows the crucial difference. In Who Did Jack Call, we already know the subject is Jack. The missing piece of information is the object. We're asking who he called. But in Who Called Teresa, we don't know who did the calling. The missing piece is the subject. We're asking about the doer. And boom, here is the secret rule, the golden ticket. When you're asking about the subject, the doer, in the simple present or simple past tense, you just do not use the helping verbs do, does, or did. The question word itself, like who or what, literally takes the place of the subject. This is exactly why our original question, who did call Teresa, sounds so weird to our ears. We're asking about the subject, so we have to drop that did. It's the same reason what did happen last night is wrong. We're asking what the thing was that happened, so what is our subject? No did needed. And here's how it should look. So much cleaner, right? No did. The question just flows so much more naturally. What happened last night? The verb happened comes right after the question word what. Simple, clean, and perfectly correct. Let's just run through a couple more examples so you really get the hang of it. Who is listening to me? Here, who is the subject? What was wrong? Again, what is the subject? And check out this last one. How many people went to the party? Even with a bigger phrase like how many people, the rule is exactly the same. We're asking about the subject, so there's no did. Okay, so case closed on subject questions, you might think. But, every good detective story needs one final twist, doesn't it? Let's take a quick look at what happens when we throw prepositions, words like for, with, or about, into our questions. So here's the twist. Now, in super formal, written English, you might see the preposition at the beginning of the question. But in everyday, spoken English, which is what we all use, we pretty much always move that little word right to the very end. Let me show you how this works. So you start with a normal statement, I work for a company. Now, if you want to ask a question about the company, you wouldn't say, for what company do you work? It just sounds unnatural. Instead, you just grab that for and pop it on the end. What company do you work for? Simple as that. And just like that, we're done. We've gathered all the clues, we've solved the main mystery, and we even handled that last-minute twist. I'd say this case is officially closed. So, what are the most important things to remember from our investigation? Okay, here's your final report. 3 things to lock in. First, subject questions are what you use when you're asking about the doer. Second, and this is the big one, remember to drop do, does, and did from those questions in the simple tenses. And finally, when you've got a question with a preposition, just send that little word to the end of the line. And there you have it. You've cracked the code.
You are officially a grammar detective. So I'll leave you with one final question to think about. Who are you going to practice this new grammar with? Give it a try. Thanks for joining me on the case.